Hey everybody, this is Nihan with EVready Energy, here to talk to you about battery factors tied to EV charging when you're looking to consider batteries in your project. So first, why batteries for EV charging? Lighting and HVAC have long been a target for energy efficiency purposes to save money, and why is that? It's because the idea of using less consumption to power your business is a way to save money. And after decades of improvement in those technologies, out of the box, those solutions are incredibly strong. And there's not quite as much improvement that will be made in the future tied to that technology. And within that solution, because it's so cost effective now, the cost of a battery is pretty prohibitive to solve those problems alone. To date, EV charging has been very different. It hasn't had a centralized focus tied to the electricity cost. If you reach out to an EV charging company today in general, they will not talk in any way about the cost on your electric bill or the efficiency of those charging stations tied to the cost of your electric bill. Therefore, it's not cost efficient. Batteries is one of the ways to address this. Again, one of the ways. Why? Battery costs are coming down. Battery funding programs are becoming more readily available across the United States, and revenue generating battery programs are going live. The more charging that exists at a facility, the more effective a battery can be at a single site. And batteries are generating 1 to 3 year paybacks in some states. Now, that's not in all states, but we're gradually going from 10 to 15 years to 5 to 10 years to, let's call it 1 to 3 years. Now, there are different types of batteries that are used for different purposes. Vehicles have batteries that are used for performance. Storage have batteries that are more focused on longevity. Certain use cases need to have safety focused batteries. Think a parking garage in Manhattan, where there's an emphasis on the safety of the batteries. Now, obviously, all of these different things come at a cost. And what's being generated within the industry right now is going from lithium ion batteries over to solid state batteries that are cost prohibitive at the moment, but uh, over time will have a lower cost with better performance. Now, it's so critical to understand how to size a battery correctly. If you are off by 2% in your battery sizing, you don't necessarily lose 2% of the value. You can lose up to 100% of the value based on how batteries work with the electric utilities and how to generate money to produce some type of an ROI. So, a couple questions. Did you size your battery based on the electrical load that it needs to service for degradation of the battery? Did you size it for future electrical infrastructure on-site considerations? And what's going to change over time from the devices you have to the usage? Did you size your battery for future revenue generating programs? The process of a battery is critical. Utilities generally need to approve the use of a battery. This sometimes can lead to costly upgrades. Who's paying for that? Is it you or is it the electric utility? There's a federal tax credit out there for battery storage. It's for the cost of the hardware plus the installation. That can range from 30% to 70% of your hardware and of your installation. So how do you maximize this? There's another question tied to EV charging as it relates to how you procure the battery. You can either get a standalone battery that powers a charging station or maybe other facilities at your location, or you can get a battery that's located inside of the charging station itself. Now, there are reasons to do both, but that's a decision that's important to make because if you, for example, decide to buy a battery that's included within the charging station that you have, it's generally going to have other limitations around capabilities of producing an ROI for the investment that you made. Is that okay? If you buy a battery that's inside the charging station where the utilization of the charger ultimately outworks the size of the battery, then the battery becomes useless. And so there's different factors to take into consideration from a safety perspective. Again, what are you using the battery for? Where is it going to be placed to ensure its safety? It's a critical piece. And then the last one is demand response programs. Is the battery that you're getting going to be eligible for revenue streams with your electric utility where they'll pay you to power the battery on and help feed the electric grid at certain times of the day. This isn't $100 a year or thousands of dollars a year. This is tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year at a facility that you can create at very small increments of the year using your battery for your facility and then using these demand response programs to make money and improve your return on investment tied to your battery. How are you taking those all into consideration? So there's probably no more complex of a solution that's out there than your battery decision that you're going to make. It's probably also the biggest investment that you're going to make. And so the question is, how are you going to make that decision? Reach out to EV Ready Energy to have a discussion on how to optimize your battery strategy.